Tyrese Halliburton just 8 points in Game 5 on 2 of 7 shooting, a minus 23 in the game, a far cry from his ridiculous 32-point triple-double.
Is there a funeral tonight?
0 turnovers in Game 4. Reggie Miller on the call tonight, and he joins us now. Reggie, let's stick with Tyrese Halliburton. The Knicks smothering him in Game 5. How does he create more offense for himself and his teammates tonight in the open court?
Number one, stop giving up the ball so early. Now, both of you guys and all three of you guys know this. They're trying to double and pressure him higher up. So when he comes off that high screen and roll, he's giving the ball up too early. He's got to continue. And we saw a lot of this in Game 4 when he had that monster triple-double game with no turnovers. He was at least getting a foot into the paint. And what happens when you get a foot in the paint? You collapse the defense, and now you can become a playmaker. Now your shot becomes available. Now that mid-range are great looks for you. I thought he wasn't as aggressive as he was in Game 4. He settled to give the ball up. And as you guys know, in an elimination game that you guys had an opportunity to do in the Garden, you have to be the aggressor. I just didn't feel like he was as aggressive as he should be. And hopefully they get a different type of Tyrese Halliburton when he's attacking and playing downhill and getting in the paint. He doesn't always have to shoot the basketball, but when he can collapse the defense because he is such a gifted passer, that's what generates offense for his teammates, for the Pacers.
Well, I like that word generate, Reggie, because it seems like whichever team generates the most energy, the most offense in that first quarter normally rides the wave for the rest of the game. Who has the upper advantage now trying to get that wave started in the first quarter?
Well, let me just say this. There's a little nervous energy around the city and in this building, and it's simple because of it's the way you win, and sometimes it's the way you lose. How New York looked in Game 5, the offense, everyone was clicking. Brunson, 12 of 18, 32 points. Cat, who's been monster this whole series, another great double-double game. But everyone seemed like they were involved and engaged. And it didn't seem like that for Indiana. So now, if you're New York coming into Game 6, you're feeling good about yourself. Our offense, we finally found it. And now there's question marks for Indiana. They do play better in this building. This energy in this building will be off the charts. Can they manufacture turnovers? Because when they turn New York over, which was still a problem for New York in Game 5, they still turn the ball over way too much. If they turn it over in this building and it's off to the races, Indiana can run them out of here. But the way they lost that ball game, the first 5 minutes will tell me everything about the next 43 minutes in this game, because they've got to come out, Indiana, and really, number one, set the pace. If they get 110 or more, they've been great in these playoffs. Their 2 losses is when New York's defense has shut them down. So they got to turn them over, and they've got to make this a track meet, gentlemen.
And, Reggie, you talk about making it a track meet and you want to get up and down, but then you also open yourself up to Brunson getting going because of his ability to score in transition and dominate the ball, especially when the pace is fast. How did the Pacers get back to what they did in Game 3? Even though they lost that game, they frustrated Brunson, only 6 of 18 that game. The last 2 games, Brunson has been over 30.
I will say this. Hopefully another 48 hours has helped Aaron Nesmith. He's been the primary defender on Jalen Brunson. No one's going to stop JB. He's that good. There's the reason why he's second-team All-NBA and the reason why he's averaging 30 in these playoffs. But the one player where he has really had to work against has been Aaron Nesmith, and he only played, I believe, 16, 17 minutes in Game 5, 1 of 8 from the field, and wasn't very effective at the defensive end. In fact, Brunson was 5 of 5 when guarded by Nesmith. They've got to get back to that physicality, starting with Nesmith, but there's going to be a number of players, Ben Shepherd, Nembhard, sometimes Siakam, T.J. McConnell. They're all going to get their turns at guarding Jalen Brunson. It's all about trying to wear him down, but it will start with Nesmith and his presence and his big body and blowing up those high screening rolls and continuing to put pressure on him.
Reggie, we were showing some of the guys for the Pacers coming in, and they were all wearing black today. and we just happen to notice that you're wearing black as well. Is this a coincidence? Or is this a coordinated attack?
I don't know what's going on in their locker room. I just felt that black is the appropriate color for tonight. So I thought I would go with it.
Okay.
You got to read between the lines a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go. You know.
Right.
I don't know what's going on in that locker room, but black is a good shade.
Okay.
I'll go with it.
Always bet on black.
There you go.
All right, Reggie, appreciate the time. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, gentlemen.
He doesn't know what's going on. All right.
He's been there a couple times.
Yeah.
He's been there before.
Wanted to get back into Halliburton conversation. You know, the other day it was fun. I was talking to Smitty and Zeke, and they were talking about Halliburton and when he's at his best. He's not coming up. He's kind of skipping. He's got that beat to him, right? Obviously was not doing that last game. You know, from your perspective, how does he open up his game again, especially if that Knicks team is smothering him?
First and foremost, you want to get out in transition and score as many points as you can before the defense sets. The Pacers, listen, they're the Indiana Pacers, and they have to play with pace at all times. So you want to get up and down the court. You want to play fast. You want to push tempo, be able to get down court, create a problem before Tibbs and that Knicks defense have a chance to put all eyes on you, because they're going to throw the kitchen sink at Halliburton. They know he's the head of the snake. They want to chop him off at the beginning. So if you can do that, that'll work out well for him. And then at the same time, sometimes you get off of it early in the possession, then you come back and get it late, just giving the defense different looks, come off that pick and roll, hit it ahead, get it back, make that defense shift, and then attack on the second side.
Yeah, when you look at the stat sheet, the other game he had the 15 assists, 0 turnovers, only 2 of 7, same thing, 6 assists, 0 turnovers. So he's still getting assists, but it all goes to the pace of the game at the end of the day. There's no extra buts or band about it. Get the ball out the net, get up and run. He advances the ball. And guys got to make early shots. You know, they shot 40% of the team. Neesmith's only 1 of 8, first time since early in the, maybe last series he shot that poorly. So guys got to make shots early in the game tonight.
You know, it's interesting because if you go back to Anthony Edwards in this last series, he was criticized for having 13 shots in that one game where his team scored, it was 126 points. He only had Halliburton 7 shots in this game, 7 attempts in this game. Do you need to see him be more aggressive? I know they're not the exact same type of player, but do you need to see him be more aggressive right off the top?
More aggressive, and what that looks like is just attacking. We're not saying get to the paint and look for the rim, because we know that's not who you are. But when you attack the paint, the defense has to honor you, and you get a couple layups. Now the lane shrinks up quicker, and now guys are getting wide open three-point shots versus contested shots.
All I have to do is see aggression. Sometimes the game plan is going to be the team's going to game plan just to take you out totally.
Yeah.
I just have to see aggression. So when you get down the lane, like you said, get down your lane, 2 feet in the paint, then make a decision. You're a great player. Mm-hmm. You might make the decision to shoot. Mm-hmm. You might make the decision to make a pass. You live with the results. All I'm looking for is Halliburton to create a problem. And when he's a good enough player and he has the unique ability to flip that switch between scorer and passer, and I trust his instincts. I just need to see him be aggressive right from the jump. Don't let the Knicks take you out of your flow, and make sure that you're creating a problem right from the jump.
Kind of crazy the way Tibbs has been coaching these last couple of games. We're just not used to seeing him using so many players, but it really has worked out for them.
I know Tibbs probably had to be introduced to some of those guys at the end of the bench. Who you?
Who is that in the bench?
When we signed him. But just
give him credit, though, guys. It showed up.
3 or 4 minutes here, 5 minutes here. You'll be surprised what that'll do for your core guys when they can just rest, get a chance to sit down, get some Gatorade, rest their legs, and then go back into the game. And so I really like the fact that Tibbs is using that bench a lot more.
I think that's, to your point, B-Wood, I think that's another reason why Jalen Brunson was 12 of 18, a great, efficient night, because his legs were fresh going down the stretch, not at the 45-minute mark. He's at the 33-minute mark at the end of the game, fresh and closing out the ball game.
At 30, you made a great point. And I didn't play 40 minutes a lot in my career. You had some nights where you do. Tell the fans the difference in what your body feels like. Because when people see 42 minutes and 34 minutes, they say, it's only 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Tell them the difference of what that 8 minutes means as far as getting your shot, your legs, and everything else.
Well, especially as a shooter, you want your legs as fresh as possible because you're running off screens. So when you see all the jump shooters today, or even Neesmith, he's playing defense and then going back on the other end, running off screens and going to spot up. But for Brunson, the ball's in his hands. He's being pushed around and coming off those screens. So I don't know Tibbs. I don't know which coach you listen to or friend, but The players are saying thank you. And to B-Wood's point, yes, we players want to play all the time, but sometimes we got to be saved from ourselves. And recently for the Knicks, you've shown that. Now those star players are fresh going down the stretch.
Mitchell Robinson, again, making a difference in that starting lineup, 6 points. His effectiveness and what he does, and then you have Josh Hart coming off the bench. It's been a great
Even Landry Shamet 2 or 3.
They were chanting his name at MSG, Landry Shamet.
Well, with that big-time steal he got underneath the basket, because sometimes I think it was last series where guys don't get on, I think it was Strother, they were saying don't get on the floor a lot because it's a defensive end. So if that's the case and Shamet's holding his, guarding his yardage, we like to say, well, let him extend a few of those minutes. He made a couple of shots. That's what gives, Jalen Brunson more rest at the beginning of the game so he could be effective at the end.
I agree. Get minutes like last game, 14 for Shamet, 10 for a guy like DeLon Wright, Deuce McBride getting 18 minutes. Those minutes add up when you take them away from your stars, and that allows guys like Karl Anthony Towns and Bridges and Brunson to come back in the game a little bit later on and be a lot fresher.
All right, coming up, we'll take a closer look at Josh Hart, one of those guys for the Knicks making a huge impact. He's one of the unsung heroes of this team, and he'll be counted on tonight with their season on the line.
Say Josh Barkley.
Huh?